Hello everyone, it's Elle. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all having a lovely day. As you know, I love singing, I love musicals, and I post a lot of singing videos on here, and I wanted to do a video chatting about some experiences I had when I was young, which in a way I suppose feeds into the topic of cliqueyness and favoritism and popularity contests, which I've done other videos on. So a lot of this was when I was at school, and when I thought that they couldn't follow me to uni, unfortunately they did. So without further ado, I'll talk about it. When I was at school, when I was in year 10 specifically, there was an all-girls singing group called the Madrigals, which was the head of music's pride and joy. Now, the head of music, I did really look up to her and respect her because of her years and years of experience in music, all the various instruments she could play, all the community things she was doing at school, and how she raised her two daughters on her own. However, like most music teachers and leaders of choirs, she did have her favourites, and she really put across a very bad message to the rest of us, going, you're not as good as these guys, you'll only be I'm not sure how to say this actually, just basically these are the people who are the stars, if only you could be like them, but you're not, so you can't go anywhere. And at one point I auditioned for some solos and didn't get them, and she quite nastily said to me that, Elle, as much as your voice helps the group, well, probably wasn't quite along those lines because it was quite a few years ago now, but you really don't have a good solo voice, and that's why you are just in the ensemble. And at the time, I guess I took it for what it was, but then looking back, what kind of a thing is that to say to a teenager or a child, and what gives the teacher the right to put them down like that? If she could have done it differently, I would have expected, or if I'd heard someone like saying it to a teenager now, what that teacher had said to me, I would expect them to say, to rephrase it more positively and going, if you want to do all these solos, why don't you go and do some singing lessons so you can really get that solo voice and you can find your solo voice, so it isn't negative, it isn't critical, it isn't patronising or anything like that. That head of music was also the musical director for the senior group of the company where I did shows like West Side Story, and then the following year Guys and Dolls. And West Side Story, as I've said in a previous video, I really wish I hadn't taken part in it, or I wish I'd stopped to question going, actually, is this right? But again, she and all the other leaders were very much on the line of favoritism, and she still just would put me down. I felt really quite targeted by her, and I'm sure others felt, I wouldn't be surprised if others felt like that too, and she was just showing particular people off. So she's going, look at these amazing people, look how great they are, look how fantastic they are, and then you're just like, oh, you're there too, okay, you do singing so that they stand out. And that's not what theatre and musicals is about at all. And it's this cliquiness which is part of the problem in theatre today. Yes, the theatre world is difficult, and if you're seen as a misfit, you're going to struggle. I've had that all my life, but then there's also the fight which says, no, this isn't okay. We need diversity, we need inclusion. Unfortunately, I didn't have that, including when I was at uni, because of how cliquey the environment was, and because of the choices made by people which made others stoop to such a low level, which I refused to sink down to. I just wouldn't do that. And while those times carry a lot of hurt, what I try and do now is, if anything, kind of use it to fuel me and on this journey that I am now, because I am coming into a place where I do like my voice, and I know, and I can say it to myself with confidence in mean it, that I can sing and I do have a voice. Like, I've met some musical theatre practitioners and coaches like D. John Wilson, for example, and they've all said that they feel I have a voice and that I do have talent. So while one aspect is, I feel like in a way I'm giving those groups and that teacher, you know, the finger, going, you didn't break me, look at me now. I know that's not a good way of thinking about it, because really their opinions don't matter. But part of me does wonder that if, say, I keep making progress and I get to a really good point, what if they might find out and go, oh, I actually treated her very badly and I actually put her down whilst I was at school, and looking back, that's not okay. So I would say to teachers now, and that think of your students, because each and every one of them is important. Not one person is in front of the other. And while you may mean well or have good intentions and not intend to hurt or upset someone, how you say it and what words you choose to use really does have an impact, and it can ultimately dictate what happens next and how the person views themselves. So I'm sure I'm not the only one who's been through times like this. Even my current singing teacher said that she's been in situations very similar to me. So if anyone feels like they're alone in a journey like this, you're really not alone. And this is part of the fight for diversity and inclusion, which is critical to the industry. I think that's all I have to say on that topic. If you've liked this video, please hit that like button. Please feel free to subscribe, and if you are comfortable enough to share your own experiences, please leave it in the comment box and let's empower each other. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Have a nice day. Bye.